It's Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Let's talk about the news. From BBC News, Turkey Parliament backs Sweden's NATO membership. After a long delay, Turkey's MPs have signed off on Sweden's bid to join NATO, and Turkish President Erdogan is expected to sign the legislation later this week or early next week. Turkey and Hungary were the only two countries to hold out on allowing Sweden to join the defense bloc in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and the leaders of both countries gave justifications for this gatekeeping, but it's generally understood that both were also seeing what they could get from other NATO nations as a trade for their support. Erdogan wanting newer model American military hardware and a change to Sweden's constitution that would hurt some of their political enemies, and Hungary's Orbán angling to secure the release of EU funds that have been held back because of the country's democratic backsliding under his governance. Yesterday, Orbán indicated that he will offer his own approval on the matter in the near future. From The Verge, Pal World is a hit, and it's easy to see why. A surprise video game hit, Pal World has dominated industry conversation and sales on game platform Steam since it was released as an early access, meaning unfinished but playable game, on January 19th, despite, or maybe at least in part because of, the controversy surrounding it. The pitch for Pal World is that it is Pokemon with guns, and that captures something of the essence of the game, as it's thematically and visually incredibly similar to Pokemon, to the point that there have been accusations of copyright infringement, as some of the in-game monster models seem to be rip-offs of the more well-known monster capturing and battling game's characters. But it's a lot more brutal and violent than the child-approved and mainstream Pokemon series, and it has crafting and survival elements that Pokemon lacks. Elements that have been very popular in the gaming world of late, and that combination of attributes has helped Pal World tally around 6 million sales in its first handful of days on the market, alone. And from Bloomberg, China weighs stock market rescue package backed by $278 billion. Chinese lawmakers have signaled that they are considering a rescue package of around 2 trillion yuan, which is about $278 billion US, pulled from the government's offshore accounts and injected into the country's state-owned companies in order to shore up the Chinese stock market. Word of this potential policy arrived just after the Chinese central bank cut its reserve requirements for commercial banks by 50 basis points, which means they don't need to keep as much cash on hand, allowing them to invest more money, alongside several other efforts that are similarly meant to help juice the economy at a moment in which it is sluggish and flashing warning signals for even more of a slowdown. The government has apparently been considering this stock market bolstering move since at least last October, but hesitated to move forward, as they are not sure if it will work and are concerned it might look more like weakness than strength, and thus could potentially achieve the opposite of their intended outcome. If you're finding some value in one-sentence news, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.